delayed logging in today by maybe 5 minutes, but here I am. How are you all? Lovely to see you. I missed you guys. I've been away for a couple of weeks now, and while I was away I couldn't have the stream, but I'm so happy that, wow, hey, I'm so happy that you're all here. Hey, hi, good evening. Thanks for coming. I hope that you are all well. I hope that you've had a good time since we last saw each other, and also I hope that you've had a good Monday. It's Monday again. I hope you've been productive and done something well. And your weekend, how was your weekend? Mine was fantastic. Hope you all had a good weekend too. So, back again, Monday stream. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew. I'm an English language consultant. I'm with you I try to be here every Monday, but of course things happen in life and I can't always be here. But if not on a Monday, then it could be moved. My holiday was fantastic, thank you for asking. Relaxation, sun, sea, yes, good food. It was very nice, thank you. I wish you all could have come with me. So, today, okay, nice. I hope you had fun. Did you do anything fun with your child? Did you go anywhere nice? Yeah, everybody, tell me what you did at the weekend. I'm dying to know. Did anybody go anywhere? Hi, welcome. Nice to see familiar faces. Welcome to all of you guys. Okay, what are we doing today? Today we're going to, we're going to split the stream into 2 parts, as we did before, actually, just before my break. For those of you who don't know, I went to Thailand, I should say. It was lovely. We're going to split the stream into 2 parts today. The first part, we're going to look at some determiners that people often make mistakes with. Neither, either, both, nor, also, to. So that's what we're going to start with. After that, we're going to look at some idioms and phrasal verbs related to what everybody does and what you're all going to do later on, I hope. I tend not to do it so much, and I know I should do it more. Sleep. It's very interesting because we have so many different ways of talking about sleep, even if we don't use the actual word sleep. I'll show you. I'm actually quite excited to show you all of them because we haven't gone through them before, so it's completely new. Again, as I always say, I try to speak up loudly. If you can't hear me well enough, or if you can't hear me at all, please tell me, and I'll try to speak up or try to see if my technical knowledge can help me. Right, so let's get the ball rolling. Okay, so neither, nor, either, or, both of. So many times I'm going to explain the most common mistake that people have. So let's imagine that I had an apple and my friend also had an apple. I would say, I had an apple, and my friend would say, I had an apple too. Now, both of these sentences are positive. I had an apple, I had an apple too. Now, the mistake that many people have is when both of them are negative. So, I don't have an apple. People want to say, I don't have an apple too. Let me write the incorrect sentence. Person 1 says, I don't have an apple. Person 2, okay, instead of me answering the question, can anybody tell me, if the answer is negative, what should person 2 say? You have options. What are the options that we have? Person 1, I don't have an apple. Person 2 doesn't have an apple. It's difficult for me to not use what you should use. So what does person 2 say? I don't have an apple. Anybody there who can tell me? I know you guys are clever. Okay, I'll give you one option. Okay, so person 2 can say, nor do I. Yes, person 2 can also say, neither do I. There is actually another option. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Okay. Last option. Nor do I, neither do I. Okay. You would say, but I do, if it was a positive answer. So, I don't have an apple. Person 2, if they did have an apple, they would say, but I do. I don't have an apple. This is the other option, the third option. I don't have an apple, and then you say either. Notice with the last sentence, you already have, yes, good. Notice with the last sentence that I wrote, you already have the negative don't in the sentence, which allows you to use either. I say either, it doesn't matter how you pronounce it. You can say neither, neither, either, or either. So this is the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to using these sentences. I'm going to give you a few more options. A few more examples, I should say. Okay. So neither Peter nor Paul worked today. Now, another mistake that people often make is they say neither, but, or. Now, neither goes together with nor because one is negative and the other is negative too. The opposite would be Okay. So that's actually a question. So, was either Peter or Paul at work today? And then we have when it's positive. So Peter was at work and Paul was at work. So both Peter and Paul were at work today. Does it make sense? Any questions about any of those so far? So, person one. Person one says, I go shopping on Sundays. So, if person two also goes shopping on Sundays, what would they say? What does person two say? Person two goes shopping on Sundays. What would they say? Anybody? Good. So do I. Any other options? So do I. Anything else? If we wanted to make the sentence a little bit longer. Any other options? Okay, it's possible to say, I go shopping on Sundays too. It's possible for person two to say, me too. And I should tell you to be careful because I've seen it many times. People making a mistake between two and two. They are not the same. That's a different stream. We can also say, I also, you read my mind, wonderful. I also go shopping on Sundays. Yes, exactly this. Good. Okay. So person one says, Steve doesn't have a driving license. Notice I spelt license in the British way, not the American way. Also a different stream. Steve doesn't have a driving license. Person two, They don't have a driving license. How could they answer this? I don't have a driving license, or Steve doesn't have a driving license, and person 2 doesn't, so how would person 2 answer? Can anybody tell me? Hi, welcome to you new guys. Sorry, I'm caught up in my stream here. Nice of you to join us. Neither do I. Okay, so yes, neither do I. So Steve, the person 1 is talking about Steve. Steve doesn't have a driving license. You would answer, neither do I, nor do I is another possibility. Can anybody think of anything? Very good, exactly. I don't have a driving license either. Very good. You guys are on fire today. Wonderful. Now, when you're explaining certain things, it's also very useful to use neither or either. For example, so we can use neither in this way. The film was neither too long nor too violent. So you're explaining, I guess it depends on how you look at this. If you are not looking for a film that's too long or too violent, even if you're using these negative words, it's a positive thing. You're explaining 2 things that were, hi, welcome. You're explaining 2 things that the film wasn't, but it's still a positive outcome. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Nice to see you. And either, good. Oh, Snowman, you're early. The Smiths are going on holiday to either Greece or France. I didn't mention this before, but when we use either, neither in these situations, you can't have more than 3 options. So you can't say the Smiths are going to either Greece or France or Spain. It's not possible. When you have when you use neither or either, you can only have 2 options. And so in this sentence, we are using either to show you that there are 2 options, and both of these options are still valid today. Okay, any questions about anything, any of that? Anything that you want me to explain again? Anything? Everybody happy? Oh, I have to check if I've got enough battery life. Yes, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. So let's move on. That's the first part of the stream. Of course, at any point, if you want to ask me about anything to do with this, in fact, if you want to ask me anything to do with anything, then you're welcome to ask me throughout the stream. Now we're going to move on. Sleep. We're not going to sleep, but we're not going to talk about sleep, but we're going to talk about vocabulary, idioms and expressions related to sleep. Quite a lot. Some of them are quite interesting. So bear with me and let's get started. First one. We'll start with idioms. Hi, welcome guys. So, to sleep like a log. Does anybody know what a log is? What is a log? It's a little bit strange because it doesn't make sense. Logs don't sleep. Any takers? Okay, so a log is, in fact, a piece of wood. Yes, it's a piece of wood. Typically, the type of wood that you would throw on the fire to burn. Yes, to sleep very deeply, very soundly. That's the meaning. To sleep like a log. To sleep very well. How many of you sleep sleep like logs? Next one. To not sleep a wink. This one should make sense. To not sleep a wink. If you don't sleep a wink, what are you doing? Or rather, I should say, what are you not doing? Yes. I understand you mean to not sleep at all. It's difficult to say. You know, sometimes, in particular the British, I didn't sleep a wink last night, which meant that, yeah, maybe they slept for a couple of hours, but not much. But it means to not sleep at all, to not sleep a wink. To hit the sack. Yes, these are about sleeping, so in some of the expressions the word sleep may not be there. To hit the sack. Hey, welcome. Can anybody tell me what it means to hit the sack? It's got nothing to do with boxing, at least not in this case. In boxing it would be bag, not sack. Yes, sack is a big bag. This is true. But in this case, the expression to hit the sack simply means to go to bed. So we would say something like, oh, I'm so tired, I need to hit the sack, or I'm exhausted, I'm going to hit the sack, or just, it's time to hit the sack. To go to bed. Next, to lie in. We all do this or want to do this. It depends on our situation. I sure enough do this, I can tell you. Maybe not during the week, but absolutely during the weekend. What does it mean? No, not to have a nap. Different meaning. To lie in. Somebody knows, I'm sure. I believe. You guys are clever. Okay. Yes, exactly. To stay in bed a little bit longer. Exactly like I said, at the weekends, maybe those of you who need to get up for work early in the morning, and maybe you don't have to do that during the weekend, as long as the kids are okay. If you've got kids, then it's possible for you to stay in bed a little bit longer. So we say something like, at the weekends, I like to sleep in. Good. An easier one here. Well, this one just makes sense. To oversleep. What do you do when you oversleep? Do you know these situations when you set the alarm and the alarm goes off and then you're still a little bit tired, but then you press snooze? You want an extra 5 or 10 minutes, and then the alarm goes off again and you press snooze because you want another 5 or 10 minutes. And in the end, you just, yes, yes, this is the end result. Yes, it doesn't have to be work or school, it can be any other thing, but to sleep too long, to sleep too long, and maybe if you had some kind of appointment or something to do, for example, you may have had an appointment with the bank or at the post office or to collect something, but yes, you woke up, exactly, you woke up later than you had to. Good. Right. Let's see if anybody can understand this one. And I should say, something. To lose sleep over something. What does that mean? What does it mean? Or, in this case, when can it happen? How do we feel when we lose sleep over something? It makes sense because people actually do this. Very good, yes. Typically, the situation could be I don't have enough money to pay my rent, and I've been losing sleep over it. I'm not satisfied with my job, and I'm losing sleep over it. Something like that, particularly when it's something that's on your mind all the time. Yes, you can't fall asleep because you are worried about something. Worry about something so you can't sleep. Exactly. Very good. Oh, sorry. That's wrong. Ignore that. Okay, a night owl. What or who is a night? Well, this one. I'm a night owl, but what does it mean? Should make sense. What does it mean to be a night owl? Hi, welcome. Guys, what is a night owl? Yes, a person who does most of whatever they're going to do at night. Exactly. They tend to stay up late, and yes, they don't sleep until very late. Yeah, I got it. Sleep. Good. Can anybody tell me what the opposite of a night owl is? What is the opposite? Any takers? What is the opposite of a night owl? Very good. An early bird. And we say, or maybe somebody knows, what does the early bird get? Hi, welcome. Anybody? What does the early bird get? This. The early bird gets the worm. So sometimes it's good to be the early bird, and maybe not so good being a night owl. You can do a little bit of both. Okay, beauty sleep. What is beauty sleep? If I say I need my beauty sleep, which I probably do, what do I mean? Beauty sleep. Any takers? Okay, so beauty sleep is the period of sleep that you may need to keep yourself feeling fresh, young, and beautiful. And so we say, I need my beauty sleep. Very common expression, sleep tight. What does sleep tight mean? Sleep tight. If somebody says sleep tight to you, what do they mean? Sleep tight. Anybody? I thought somebody may know this one. Sleep tight is the same as sleep well. So sleep tight, sleep well. Yes, exactly. My mother used to say this to me. Sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. I think it's kind of a common expression. I wouldn't say it's the minimum amount of sleep that's needed, rather a comfortable sleep. Sometimes you can sleep and you're a little bit restless and you don't sleep well, particularly if you're thinking about getting up early and there's not many hours between now and then. So when we say sleep tight, it means sleep well, even if it's for a shorter period of time, but to actually sleep deeply, well, comfortably. I'm going to give you a few that you should know, so I'll just tell you. Sound asleep, that's similar that's the same as being sleeping deeply, to be sound asleep. Same as to sleep, sleep like a log, which we said before. Hit the hay, same thing as to hit the sack. Hay, does anybody know what hay is? Let me explain. Hay, it's something like, well, not something like, it's dried grass that we have, and sometimes we give this to animals. This is hay. You can have big stacks of hay. Yes, exactly. And so when we say hit the hay, maybe in the past they didn't have beds, and so they slept on straw. Here's a nice one. To lull one to sleep. Hello. To lull one to sleep. What does this mean? This is a nice one. Nice to see you. What does it mean to lull one to sleep? How many of you have kids, especially small kids? Or even if your kids are a little bit older? It can be a pleasant song, such as a lullaby, but it doesn't have to be. When you lull somebody to sleep, you do whatever it takes to make that person go to sleep. So it can be a lullaby. It can be by rocking them. With my niece, I used to lull her to sleep just by looking like I was tired. She would look at me and I would go, and she'd look at me and then she went, and very soon she was sleeping because she saw me and she thought that I was going to sleep. So to lull somebody to sleep means to encourage, if you like, manipulate them to fall asleep. So to lull someone to sleep. It's a nice one. Now a dangerous one. To sleep at the wheel. To sleep at the wheel. What does this mean? Hi, welcome. Yes, exactly. Um, can you expand? Because it's possible to sleep in a car. I've done it before, but it depends where you're sleeping in the car. The wheel. So to actually sleep while you are doing what? Driving. To sleep at the wheel means to fall asleep while you're driving. Many people have had situations where, yes, exactly, they feel like they're falling asleep when they're driving. You can see some horrible, scary examples of this on YouTube, actually. But yes, to sleep at the wheel, to fall asleep when you are driving. Next one, to put something to sleep, not someone. To put something to sleep. What can that mean? To put something to sleep. Okay, so to put something to sleep, this is a situation, let me think the best way to put it. If you have a disagreement, maybe an argument, something where to take something for, no, 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 no. When you put something to sleep, that means you stop talking about it, you bury it, it's the end of the argument. An example, my two best friends hadn't spoken for months because they had a disagreement, but in the end, they put it to sleep and are now talking again. So to finish the disagreement or the argument, and then it's gone. It's sleeping, if you like. So we don't need to talk about it anymore. To put something to sleep. We still have some phrasal verbs, but the last idiom, I think we've all done this before. To sleep on it. What does that mean? To sleep on it. Hey, okay. If you can picture a situation where you may have a decision to make, something that yes, you have a, yes, exactly this. To spend the night, we say the night, but actually it could be a little bit longer. We can say something, I need to sleep on it for a few days. Indirect speech is the subject for next week. I don't. Are you reading my mind? Yes. But we're going to look at that next week. We don't have too much time now, but next week for sure we'll look at indirect speech. So next Monday. I read in a grammar book. If you give me an example, because it's not rude, within indirect speech, what you do is Okay, so you have, you need to give me the example that you're thinking of. If you have the time, give me the example, because normally it's not rude, but I need to see which example you mean. Okay, we're going to quickly go to phrasal verbs with sleep. We talked about sleeping, to sleep a little bit longer. We also have sleep off. Sleep off something. This one's a little bit difficult. I don't know if anybody knows this. Let's say when you have been under the influence of something, gurgle, gurgle, and the next morning you are not in the best state, so you should stay in bed. Then we say sleep off. So, for example, I had too much to drink last night. I need to sleep it off. I'll write that for you. Hi. I had too much to drink last night. I need to sleep it off. So sleep off, excuse me. Sleep on should make sense. What do you do when you sleep on? What do you do when you sleep on, guys? Imagine a situation. You need to sleep, you're sleeping, and maybe you get a phone call or delivery comes and wakes you up. You're still tired, so you decide to sleep on, to go back to sleep. To sleep on, to continue sleeping. Sleepover. This also makes sense. Sleep over. Okay, so sleep over. No, it's funny you should say this, because this is actually, we had this already. What you're talking about is to oversleep. No, it's not. It's something completely different. Interesting, right? When we have oversleep, it means one thing, but when we have sleep over, it means something different. So to sleep at somebody's place. So I'm sleeping over at my friend's place. I'm not staying this weekend, so his girlfriend is going to sleep over. So to sleep at somebody else's place, sleepover. And we have something that's called a sleepover. This is typically with maybe kids or teenagers, where they decide to go to one house and they have I don't know, pajama. I never did it when I was young, but your friends go and you sleep all together. Yeah, a sleepover. But this is only really something that kids or teenagers do. One more. Sleep through. To sleep through something. What does that mean? Think of thunderstorms, I don't know, fire engines, a lot of noise outside, but you keep on sleeping. So in this case, I'll write this for you. Sure. I would actually say to not notice anything. So I slept through the storm last night. I slept through the storm. The person was sleeping and they just didn't notice it. So I slept through the storm. Okay. Any questions before I go? It was nice seeing you all after my holiday. I'm glad to be able to give this stream today. Next week we will be looking at direct speech, reported speech. So that should be a fun stream. I'm wishing all of you the best week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and the rest of the week. Relax at the weekend. Sleep in if you can. Make the most of it. And thank you so much for joining me. For those of you that are new, remember my name, Drew. I'm here on Mondays. And I look forward to seeing all of you next Monday. So thank you very much. Take care and bye for now.